Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are both on the campaign trail Friday. Harris is in the battleground state of Arizona for the first time since President Biden dropped out of the race and endorsed her. Her visit comes as she secures a major endorsement from the League of United Latin American Citizens, the first time the civil rights group has ever endorsed a candidate. Meanwhile, former President Trump is in Montana. It's his first campaign rally this week. It comes after he held a press conference Thursday where he attacked Harris's record on immigration and the economy and called her, quote, incompetent. During that press conference, Trump also committed to 3 presidential debates next month. So far, Harris has only confirmed she will be at one of them. I'm joined now by CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand. She's traveling with the Harris campaign in Phoenix, Arizona. And campaign reporter Jake Rosen is traveling with the Trump campaign in Bozeman, Montana. Welcome to both of you. Jake, let me start with you. Why is former President Trump in Montana? I mean, this is a ruby red state. He's certainly not at risk of losing that state to Harris in November.
You're absolutely right, Elaine. The big thing here is it's part of a fundraising swing by the former president in Colorado and up here in Wyoming and Montana. But it's also a personal grudge that Donald Trump has against Senator Jon Tester, the Democrat here from Montana, who blocked an ally of Trump's, Republican congressman, former White House doctor Ronnie Jackson, from getting a post in 2018 leading the Department of Veterans Affairs. And since then, Donald Trump went 4 times to try to defeat Tester in that election cycle up here in Montana. He sent all of his allies up here to do so. It was unsuccessful, but this is the start of Donald Trump trying to make sure that a critical Senate seat is flipped in his favor come November.
Well, Natalie, let's turn to the Harris campaign. I want to play a bit of a new ad from the campaign focusing on the border.
As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
Natalie, how big of a role does the border and immigration play into the campaign in Arizona?
Well, of course, Elaine, being a border state, it's a huge issue here. And I think that ad speaks to the Harris campaign trying to push back to some of the criticism by the Trump campaign, some of their ads and language blaming Vice President Harris and the Biden administration for the current situation at the border. As we know, President Biden, had to put in place tougher restrictions on asylum to try to bring down illegal crossings at the border. This ad speaks to the Harris campaign also trying to perhaps reach out to moderate Republicans or independents who are concerned about immigration and border security in this border state. But Elaine, you also mentioned that LULAC endorsement that Vice President Harris and Governor Walz received earlier today. We spoke to another immigration advocacy organization here in Phoenix today, a DACA recipient who, note, DACA recipients, dreamers, they cannot vote, but they still advocate and will be involved in the campaign in this fall. But he told us, Jose Patino told us, that he's not yet sold. He wants to hear more from the Harris campaign on her vision for immigration reform and helping dreamers like him.
That she is going to actually prioritize and legalize dreamers. I want her to actually, because we have always, since I was a high school senior, I heard Barack Obama talking about my first 100 days, I'm going to get a bill of immigration or I'm going to introduce the Dream Act. Yes, you can do that, and it's been done for now, 20 plus years. I actually want the bill to pass.
And obviously a lot of that depends on Congress as well, but it will really be interesting, Elaine, to see how Vice President Harris speaks about the topic of immigration, both immigration reform and border security, before this Arizona crowd today.
Right, and incredibly important issues you outlined there in Arizona. Well, Jake, besides the Friday rally and a press conference Thursday, Trump has been somewhat absent from the campaign trail compared to his opponent. Why is that? Does he have more campaign events planned?
Well, this is certainly the longest time that Donald Trump has gone without an official campaign event since Butler and the RNC, in which he's had an event every 2 or 3 days. So certainly it's a little bit of a downtime, but we did see Donald Trump do some interviews Friday into Monday remotely, and he also sat down with live streamer Aiden Ross. So the campaign has always, since they started, kind of embraced this alternate, right-wing influencer or right-wing personality interview kind of system in addition to just the regular rallies. But as we kind of get going towards the DNC, and while Vice President Harris and Tim Walz are going to get a lot of attention, we can certainly expect Donald Trump to try to vie for that with a number of rallies and counter-programming that week.
Well, Natalie, how is the Harris campaign boosting its presence in the Southwest swing states? What kind of voters are they courting there?
Yeah, well, number one, they're taking the campaign here physically. You can see thousands in this line behind me. It actually wraps around for several blocks into the parking lot. So this is considered a huge crowd here tonight to see the vice president and her new running mate, Governor Walz, as part of this inaugural ticket tour, this battleground blitz that we've seen this week. But we also know they're trying to beef up their campaign infrastructure on the ground. The campaign says that they've opened around 13 offices in Nevada, where she's traveling to tomorrow, and around a dozen here in Arizona, they say, with more to come. So this really speaks to the campaign putting heavy emphasis on these key states in the Southwest. As you know, Elaine, President Biden just narrowly won Arizona in 2020. The Harris campaign hoping to repeat that and expand upon the success potentially and trying to capitalize on this enthusiasm that we've seen this week.
All right, Natalie Brand and Jake Rosen, thanks to you both.